Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to all of my patrons who helped make this series possible, with special thanks to Anerdinwarpaint, Matthew Holmquist, Nathan Welch Jr., and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Wasteland 3, as we get our first real look at the glitz and glamour of Broadmoor Heights. Quite possibly the ritziest location in post-apocalyptic Colorado Springs. Outside of Little Vegas, that is. Now, I will say, I'm not really anticipating a lot in the way of action this time around, but it should still hopefully be interesting. We should have plenty of dialogue, puzzles, lore. So bear with me, and we'll see if we can knock this out in a single episode. Holy Symbol. Guaranteed 100% waterproof and bloodstain resistant. Colorado Springs Weatherproofing Corporation. Sure, why not? The Gospel of Nicholas, an excerpt from the scripture of the Holy Deluge. That sounds strangely familiar. Yeah, we've got what I assume is a rough draft of that book. I'm assuming they've cleaned it up a bit for more refined audiences. And so did their holy prophet Nicholas commemorate and consecrate the remembrance of the final deluge by leading the congregation in their ceremonial denial of old-world consumer goods. Has not the final deluge, that great rain of cleansing fire, given our children a new beginning by washing away all the false trappings of the old world? He asked his flock. Yes, they answered as a single choir. Holding aloft those relics that had become the false idols of so many, coffee pots and compact discs and gossip magazines, Nicholas cast them one by one into the cleansing fire of a microwave, which was called upon to replace the traditional ceremonial flames. The loyal supplicants of the final deluge exulted as they denied the obsolete artifacts that had so deeply contributed to the ruination of humankind before their prophet set each one ablaze. And then did Nicholas conclude the ceremony by promising the inevitable cleansing of the microwave as well, for it was a chief perpetrator of complacence and false idolatry before the gift of the all-consuming holy fire. And the followers of the final deluge did rejoice. Yeah, that is the exact same story, just, prettied up for modern audiences. There's some interesting subtext there, but we will not delve into that. That moves a bit beyond the scope of a video game.
Mrs. Putnam is still looking for her cat. Small tabby, very affectionate, answers to the name Julep. You are safe here.
Cool. Thanks.
We know not what form the final deluge will take. Some say steel, others say blood.
Intriguing. That's the first we're hearing of a deluge of steel.
Down in front!
I can't see the
As always, the worship team could use more guitarists. Auditions this Sunday.
Sorry. The middle-aged woman murmurs quietly to herself, her hands clasped in prayer. When she notices you standing nearby, she looks up, and you see tears streaming down her cheeks.
Oh, thank God! You're the Westerners, aren't you? The Rangers?
That's us. Need our help, ma'am?
My husband, my Hardy, was in Aspen when Vic Buchanan raided the town. Vic took him hostage, but there's been no word for weeks. I know it's frightful wicked to hope for the safety of one soul over many, but I beg you, find him. Save him if you can.
No need to beg, Mrs. Knox. We have business of our own with Vic Buchanan. If your husband's alive, we'll find him.
The older woman flinches, raises her head again, and risks a smile.
I didn't see you there, Lucia. You're a good girl. Always have been. I'm dreadful sorry for your loss.
Lucia nods at the words, but quickly looks away.
We have money, Rangers. Even though we don't live fancy like some families do, if you bring my Hardy home safe, we'll donate all we can to your cause.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I was gonna say, the name sounded somewhat familiar. If I recall, Allie Blue specifically cited the Knox family as one of the reasons she didn't want to move to Colorado Springs. Can you describe your husband for us?
He's a little on the portly side, always well-dressed, but he likes playing cowboy out on the ranch. Kindest man in 100 families. That's why I married him.
You're from one of the 100 families?
Yes, but we're homebodies, and neither of us is very political. We own bison ranches out east, supply Colorado Springs with half its meat.
Well, that does sound pretty important. We found this old journal in our headquarters. It mentions the Knox family. Any interest in it?
Let me see who... Allie Blue? Aunt Allie? My goodness, of course! I'd love to read this. Blue is my maiden name. Back in the old days, the Blues and the Knoxes hated each other. Old Aunt Allie almost shot me when I told her I was gonna marry Hardy.
Huh.
Always wanted to know what things were like when she was young. Oh, thank you, Rangers. Let me give you something for this.
Well, thank you, ma'am. We found a cybernetic chicken in the church closet. Ever seen it before?
You mean he's real? I've seen him poking around the church at night, but I wasn't sure if my mind was playing tricks on me. Didn't dare get too close. I left him some food, just in case. Corn and scrap metal. He seemed like such a good, strong chicken.
Well then, okay. We will do what we can, Miss Knox.
I know you will. Thank you, Rangers.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I heard Mr. Howe found himself a pretty blonde thing.
Really? And what did his wife say to that?
Nothing. She's been too busy with the pool boy.
It's good to see the 100 families have their priorities straight.
Your wardrobe is creative.
Thanks. That's what we were going for.
Please step back, Rangers. I'm not supposed to let anyone near this servitor drone. It's malfunctioning something fierce, and we think it belonged to the Wessons.
Interesting. I think our current persuasion score is 3, so it would take a pretty hefty investment to reach that. Why can't we take a closer look?
Ongoing investigation, or something. How should I know? Now please, step back.
Okay, so we've got another option now. Slightly more reasonable, but unfortunately I don't think the marshals actually like us just yet. Lucia, you're a Wesson. Doesn't that make the drone your property?
That's right. I recognize that drone. It ran little errands for my father and alphabetized his books.
Are you going to stop Miss Wesson from accessing her property?
No, I mean, no, ma'am. Please don't mind me. Go ahead and do whatever you need to do.
As far as you can tell, the drone is stuck in some sort of loop. Its chassis is banged up, so the damage may have led to an internal fault. If the robot's operating system crashed, it might initiate a reboot sequence. It might also be possible to rewire the servitor bot without shutting it off. That would allow you to force a system restart. In theory. I guess we'll go with the mechanics check, just to grab that small bit of extra XP. You smell burning plastic. After a moment, some internal fans kick in, and the scent fades.
Hey, look at him go.
You're right. He's off like a bat out of hell. How can we possibly keep up with him? Oh.
So they killed the Wessons, the Schulers, the Jacksons, Sophia Gutierrez too, and her kids. The Patriarch said the Dorseys were dead. He was either lying or incompetent. Which is it? A lot of people have been asking the same thing.
My family will be avenged.
Oh, are we? I think we're heading into Lucia's house. X. No marker on the house, though.
Objective complete. Current location located here. Unknown. Prayer status. Objective lock. Left a few things for you in the yard. Honey, love, that.
That was Dad. Always thinking ahead.
A box with nails on it. Cool. Well, at least we got some mods out of it. Those we can use.
Welcome home, Miss Wesson.
Yep, that's definitely Lucia's house.
It feels so empty now. Even when Pa and Ma were traveling, they were here. Their spirits filled the place. Now, they do not.
Lucia, I don't want to be sad.
Mama used to love sitting in here. She'd be ashamed at the mess it's in now.
What did I just say?
Damn Dorseys weren't content to rip everything up. They had to toss the furniture around too. Animals. Couldn't even leave my memories of this place alone.
Lucia, what do you think happened here?
My house was the first place the Dorseys went. Probably walked right in through the front door, stole my parents and little brother away, and then took out their anger on the house.
It's dark, but you can make out smashed scraps of wood and splintered doors. It doesn't look like the attackers left much of anything behind.
No point looking back there. It's smashed up even worse, and the Dorseys took everything worth stealing.
Not to make light of your sadness, Lucia, but I'm pretty sure it's because the developers didn't want to have to model the rest of the interior.
Mama used to love sitting in here. She'd be ashamed at the mess it's in now.
Alright, doll. Looks like you're up. Pulse gun. Good sales fodder. And a coach gun. We might be able to get some use out of that. Let's see here. Modest, but it is pretty much an across-the-board upgrade. This house had a lot of furniture. Most of it is now blocking this hallway. Doll, your services are required once more.
Wow. Daddy really didn't want any Dorseys to muck around with his cooking supplies.
Might be a slight understatement, Lucia. The man put death traps in front of his toaster. We'll have to boost Doll's explosive skill for those two. The question is, are we better off saving those points? Oh, actually, disarming one of those would be enough to bump her up another level, so yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Careful. Okay, so we now have 3 points to play with. We could disarm that mine, but I don't think we need to. It's not really blocking us from anything. Oh, hey. Gold insulated power cord. A rubberized cable infused with gold that could carry power from an outlet to a toaster. Valuable, but I can't help but notice it's not marked as junk, which implies we should hold on to it. I'll be more than happy to use these deployables, though. Okay, so let's go ahead and bump our lockpicking up to 6. And that should let us open this safe, and the one back in the Sands Lux. we can always come back for the trap later.
Only person who knew the combination to that safe was my mom. If you think you can guess it, I don't mind.
You heard the lady. Oh good, more melee weapons. Gotta say, we are not having much luck with these randomized loot rolls. Percival Wesson recording. This unlabeled tape contains a recording from Percival Wesson during the Dorsey attack. Yay.
Dearest Lucia, I pray this message finds its way to you, as it is the last I'm ever likely to give. Whatever becomes of us, you mustn't blame yourself. I know you would have wanted to be here at the end, but I'm glad you are not.
Open the door, Wesson! Time to face justice!
Your mother and I love you very much, and we are so proud of the woman you've become. You are destined for great things, Miss Lucia Wesson. I regret that I shall not live to...
Oh, God!
Yeah, that is just about as messed up as I expected it to be. Wow. I mean... Okay, moving on. Okay, so we can reach the Patriarch's palace from here. We'll clear the rest of Broadmoor Heights, and then we'll go have a chat with the Patriarch.
Hey, boss.
As leaders of the 100 families look on, Isaiah Buchanan passes the flag of the United States of America to his son, the future Patriarch of Colorado, Saul Buchanan, calling upon him to protect and glorify it to the end of his days. Oh, okay. So I guess that would make Saul the figure on the left? And, these figures over here, the 100 families. That's a bit ominous. It is interesting, though. I think during my original trailer analysis, I actually speculated that that was Saul handing control off to one of his kids. The statue has been weathered by time and the elements, but you can still see the resemblance. Robots and Rangers for real. The label simply reads, Best game ever?
You descend the narrow stairs and find the door to the bunker slightly ajar. I listen at the door. Make a perception roll.
It's awful dark out here. Maybe we should go inside.
This was your idea. He said it would be cool to play a game in the park.
I got a 15! Do I hear anything? You hear a faint scraping sound inside. Like the sound of a skeletal foot dragging across stone. It's coming closer.
Did you hear that?
It's just the wind.
Ah! A pale dog! There's a pale dog watching us!
What? Where? I don't see...
It's coming after us! Run!
Okay, first thing, yes. I want robots and rangers to be a thing, and I want it on my shelf. Second, I have to wonder if that was actually a dog or an early sign of the Dorsey attack, since they do wear elk skulls on their heads. That's either awesome or very sad. Okay. We've got another copy of the Ancient Love Letter. In fact, based on context, I'm going to say that this is where we were supposed to find it, and the placement in that safe was probably a mistake. Alright, we are clearly in the park. Let's poke around and see what we can find. So what can we click on? Crypt Grave? LB. Liberty Buchanan? That would make for a very short game. Tree. How conspicuous. A plaque on this tree says, planted on the day of the Patriarch's birth, Tuesday, April 18th, 2028. This may be one of the 3 locations mentioned in the ancient love letter. Examining the tree carefully, you find a box that someone concealed in the trunk. The wood is grown around it, but a tiny keyhole is visible through the crack in the wood. Oh, I get the feeling we're skipping a step here. We're probably supposed to find a key somewhere, but I'm not going to say no to some bonus experience points. The box is bigger than it looks. You pull out a tightly rolled bear skin. Unrolling it, you discover what appears to be an ancient and undelivered marriage proposal, along with quite a lot of money.
I reckon it's a good thing this proposal was never delivered.
Ah, young love. Glad I grew out of it.
Come on, guys. I feel like you're being a little excessively harsh here. I mean, sure, killing a bear and tanning its hide might be a bit excessive by modern standards. But this is 100 years into the post-apocalypse. I feel like they're valid skills to communicate to a potential spouse. Pelt of proposal. Tight, cramped words are tattooed on the underside of this pelt. My dearest Camilla, you have solved my love puzzle. This pelt represents my eternal loyalty, because I cannot bear to live without you. Will you take me as your partner in life until the end of days? Yeah, that might be a bit much. Still, though. Again, I notice it's not marked as junk, so, I guess we'll keep an eye out for Camilla. Also, 2028. That would make the Patriarch 80. An inscription on the bench reads, "For Camilla, the cleverest girl I met on a Monday." Noting the reference to a day of the week, like in the ancient love letter, you search the area. Wedged underneath the bench, you find a small, ornate key. It looks like it's been here for a long time. Yeah, I guess we'll take that.
Did you hear what happened in Aspen? All those people taken hostage?
If it's really Vic who has them, they're all as good as dead.
Don't say that to Miriam Knox. Her husband was there, poor woman.
That does not bode well. Behind the wooden boards, the door is splintered and broken. Through cracks in the wood, you can see a ransacked interior. Where would the first clue have been hidden? Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. We've already found the pelt. Might have been one of those, heaters.
Someday I'm gonna live like this. Someday.
You and me both, Quan. That or a shallow grave. Gotta say, I really like that truck. I mean, the Kodiak's okay, but I'd really prefer something a bit more, realistically scaled.
Yes? Oh, hello! You must be the Rangers.
Yeah, we met.
I'm Diligent Joe, the Patriarch's personal secretary. I make sure only people who have official business with him get past his door. You, due to the importance of your mission, have Mr. Buchanan's leave to enter as necessary. Of course, that privilege could be revoked at any time, but for now, please go on in.
Hello, Joe.
Ah, Miss Wesson. You have my deepest sympathies on the deaths of your family.
Thank you, Joe.
So, normal folks can't see the Patriarch?
It used to be that we held town hall meetings where citizens could bring their grievances before him, but that practice has changed in the last year or so due to security concerns.
Yeah, I guess I can understand that, given the current circumstances surrounding valor and victory and liberty. Pretty much his entire family.
Good day.
I've got to say,
Rangers!
Joe, a lot of the Patriarch's actions could be interpreted in multiple ways. It could be the perfectly logical actions of a man trying to hold a struggling community together. Or it could be the sinister ulterior motives of an aging...
Welcome, Rangers!
Joe, of an aging tyrant doing everything he can to retain his grasp on power. I like the fact that there's always that little bit of gray in there.
Rangers!
You know what? Let's go ahead and grab that rabbit. We might as well at least see what some of these companions have to offer. Ah, right. Major Tomcat fixes his steely gaze on you, then wiggles his tail expectantly. You deserve a scritch behind the hat, Major Tomcat. All right, Tom, I just need you to wait here for a second. Bun, bun, run, run. Keep your wits out there. You don't want to become someone's lucky rabbit's paw. Initiative plus 10%. Pretty underwhelming as far as bonuses go, but we'll take it. For now. Major Tomcat eyes you suspiciously. Hey there, Major Tomcat. Why don't you come follow Team November again? Major Tomcat begrudgingly falls in line behind you.
Welcome, Rangers!
Oh,
Oh, Melissa, you're too much.
I'm sorry, you were saying?
Oh, we're just talking. Strangers, no need to get any closer.
Uh-huh.
What could you possibly want? Even with this beastly weather, I can smell them from here.
Absolutely repugnant, Sal. Repugnant.
Alright, you two are pushing it a little. I'll have you know that we don't smell any worse than your average murder hobo.
Let's keep walking.
Not much use for a fountain in frozen Colorado. This must have been built before the nuclear apocalypse. I'm not sure if Quan was responding to the fountain or the snooty couple. Intriguing. At your approach, the servitor twitches and heaves, rising to its full height.
Hello, and welcome to the wondrous, fabulous, most fantabulous home of the Broadmoor family.
It finishes with a burst of static and sparks.
What is your business at the Wasteland?
Oh yeah, we rescued Bellamy out in the Garden of the Gods. Might as well net some bonus experience. The servitor goes silent for a moment before jolting back to attention.
The master is expecting you. Please enter through the door.
Don't mind if I do.
The master is expecting you. Please enter through the door. Your presence was not requested. Please leave immediately.
Nah.
Rangers, so good to see you. Thank you again for saving my life.
You're welcome? I'm gonna go touch all your stuff. I hope that's okay. Gentleman's First Chemistry Set. Advanced Edition. I feel like they're not making optimal use of their space here. Oh, hello there.
I knew the security system needed more security checks and fewer show tunes. Blast. You are the Rangers, correct? I expected our paths to cross eventually. Let me express my thanks for saving my son Bellamy in the Garden of the Gods. All I can manage is the ineloquent gratitude of a father who thought he lost his child. May I help you with something?
Well, I was kind of hoping for a reward, but what can you tell us about the Patriarch's children?
Their names are Valor, Victory, and Liberty. They are Saul Buchanan's children. He loves them as only a father can. I understand that love. That's all I should say. Please ask me about anything else.
Interesting. What sort of work do you do here?
Most of my time is spent researching and developing technology. In time, I believe we can restore our standard of living to that of the legendary pre-war days in the 1980s. Who knows? Someday we may even exceed it.
I don't know. The 80s were pretty great. How do you really surpass neon and shutter shades? We'll talk later.
Bye, Rangers.
Touching all the stuff. Ah, that looks like a solar panel. This looks like a work-in-progress version of the solar collectors placed throughout the Garden of the Gods. Oh, Mechanical 7. And a much more reasonable weird science check. Or we could just loot the thing and be done with it. Okay, so we currently have 4 base in mechanics, plus 1 from the repair kit. We would have to bump it up 2 more points to reach that 7. That would cost us 4 skill points. No, wait, 5. Right, because it gets more expensive. We could just do the weird science check instead. That would probably get the same result. I'm gonna have to give that some thought. This corner of the room smells like biology class. Formaldehyde and antiseptics. Okay, you know what? Let's go for it. This solar collector has been designed to operate in extremely harsh conditions. Though difficult, it doesn't take very long to put it back together in a more efficient configuration. Your improvements, though barely visible, are definitely working.
I know we've met before, Rangers, but it is extremely rude to break into a man's house unannounced.
But we upgraded your solar collectors.
Indeed. Wonderful news. Please accept this small token of my gratitude.
Ooh. Wait, is that 2 sets of 3, or the same set of 3 twice?
Goodbye, Rangers.
Yep, we definitely got 6. Thank you, Elijah. Well, we will just be on our way.
Lucia, I'm so sorry about your family.
Wasn't anything you could have done, Bellamy. You know that.
Come on, guys.
The master is expecting you. Please enter through the door.
I used to play on these streets. Now there's blood on them.
No, I want to be happy. I miss the carefree days of Irv. Oh, okay.
Nice work fixing that drone, Rangers.
This is where we came in, so I think we're pretty much done here. Yeah, let's go check out the Patriarch's Palace.
Rangers!
Joe? That's odd. Okay, I'm gonna say that's not something we're supposed to say.
You're cleared for public areas only.
This statue looks like a much younger version of the Patriarch. Oh my.
The guards who get posted here are so full of themselves.
I can't imagine why.
The Patriarch likes it quiet in here. So do we.
Uh-huh. Can I take those?
No sudden moves. Understand? Stop!
Sorry. Just, protagonist here. This painting dates from before the apocalypse. It depicts a city with an unpronounceable name in a place called Europe. Huh, weird.
Well, the old man sure knew how to pick 'em, not so much how to keep 'em.
Those were his first 2 wives. They were dead before I was born.
Beloved Lara, 2070. So, 30 years ago. 38 years. LB could be the grave we saw. Livia, 2059. Initials also match the grave marker. A smaller version of the giant Patriarch statue in Market Square. Maybe this was the prototype. It is a pretty nice statue. You gonna shoot me if I go in here? The oldest Monster Army Masher jacket. Legend says it belonged to an adolescent werewolf who wreaked terror on a small town. A young Saul Buchanan slew the last wearer and took the jacket as a trophy. Teenaged Wolfman, you say? I thought we had exiled all of those to London. Claimed from the body of a breather, 2106. So, very recently. Scar Collector Arm from the Battle of Pumpkin Center, 2097. Which, wait. Okay, if my mental math was correct, then that would imply that the Patriarch was almost 70 years old when he took down the Scar Collectors. Looks like the war banner of some forgotten Plains gang, defeated long ago. Yeah, I think they were themed after some sort of pizza place or something. Lame. Mask of the Cyclops, last warlord of the Monster Army. Very, Harryhausen.
My family and I were invited to dine with the Patriarch a while ago. Seemed a bit sad at that table, all by his lonesome.
The Patriarch still has chairs around his dining table, as if he's waiting for his wayward children to come home. Adoption records. Melissa Howe. The papers appear to be adoption records for one Melissa Howe. One section stands out. By order of Saul Buchanan, the orphan will be presented as the legitimate heir of Claire Howe. Marshals present during the Godfisher raid are sworn to secrecy. You recognize the name Howe from Broadmoor Heights. She was one of the people mocking others as they passed. Yeah, I do remember her. Though I don't think we ever actually got her name. An old rubber mask. Is that a dried out head inside? Sanitary. Genuine Payaso footwear, spattered with genuine Payaso blood. I think we're starting to understand why Junko had to, clean up the old museum. Polite parlor pastimes. Pages upon pages of games playable in less than an hour. The games involving random chance have been crossed out. Not a lore object. Not marked as a quest item. Curious. The front of this vase is clean and shiny. The back is caked with dust. Cool. Though I suppose it is a bit of an apt metaphor for Colorado Springs. Or the Patriarch.
Used to get lots of visitors. Not anymore.
Yeah, that never happened.
The Buchanans. Sol, Victory, Liberty, Valor. 2105. Cleo, 2072. So, 36 years ago. Closest to the family portrait. Could be the mother.
Rangers, welcome. How are you settling in?
You know, things are a little chaotic around here, huh?
That's why you're here, to help make the chaos go away. Now, what can I do for you?
Fair. We have some questions.
Ask them.
Ooh, we'll come back to that one. What happened between you and the Dorseys?
Used to be my strongest supporters, until we had an argument about how quickly democracy should be instituted in Colorado. When they lost that argument, they tried to usurp me, and, well, until they attacked the city, I thought I'd wiped out the whole family. Apparently, Nelius led some of them into the wilderness. I should have been more thorough. I assume it was Liberty who put them up to the raid. They were never this clever before.
Couldn't help noticing that you seem to favor your daughter over your sons.
Can you blame me? If she wasn't as bloody-handed as she is brave, I'd have already passed the throne to her. Unfortunately, she has no interest in governing, only ruling.
Have you ever considered expanding beyond the borders of Colorado?
The nation as you see it is my life's work. Only fools expand beyond their ability to govern.
A surprisingly sensible answer. Have you thought about what'll happen to Colorado after you're gone?
Why? Are you getting ideas?
Yep, that's about the response I expected. Oh, wow. These are some pretty loaded responses. It just seems, as you're not planning to pass the job to your children, it might be time to consider another successor.
I've got years left to make that decision, Rangers. And I'm certainly not going to make it while all this is going on.
I mean, you're 80, but okay. let's back up.
Fine.
I guess that's it. Thank you for your time, the Patriarch.
Get going, Rangers. You have work to do.
We do indeed.
Do not distract me, Rangers.
You're clear for public areas only.
Yeah.
Hey, you hear about Rosalind's ex?
The love puzzle guy?
Scuttlebutt is he's been trying to get rotated into her unit.
Oh, we gotta make this happen. You ever see Roz go all Ice Queen on some poor soul? It's like, I can't even describe it.
Careful, or someone will think you got the hots for Rosalind.
No way. I just appreciate a nice evisceration when I see one.
Cute.
I know we're on break, but keep your voice down.
You better not start anything. We're on break.
That is fair. Jacob, you lost the bet, so you make the coffee. Make the coffee. These machines look like they haven't worked in years.
Busy day today.
There's a note pinned here. Hey, Charlie, we all know afternoon turret duty bites, but clean up your mess. Thanks. Another box with more nails. Duty roster terminal. Access restricted. Station, East Wing. On duty. Station, dining room. Unassigned. Station, turret maintenance. On duty. Station, lobby front desk reception duty. Unassigned. Ah, okay, I see what's going on here. Basically, once we have sufficient skill, we'll be able to reassign the guards. That will... yeah, that'll give us access to the containers and the doors that we're not currently allowed to touch. Obviously not something we can do right now, but certainly worth keeping in mind. Alright, I think we're pretty much done here, for now. Let's go have a chat with that gal out front. I think we might be able to use these adoption papers to our advantage. I will say, those adoption papers do raise some interesting questions. Is it a random act of kindness towards a helpless orphan, or a strategic move to place a hand-picked leader in charge of an otherwise defunct 100 family? As with a lot of what we're seeing, it could be interpreted in two very different ways.
Low priority 1. Move to next objective. I am very valuable private property. Please do not touch.
Sorry?
I suppose they'll let just anyone in these days.
Indeed, Melissa, simply anyone.
I don't believe we were having a conversation. I'd certainly remember that odor.
Oh, Melissa. Drawl. Very drawl. I was kind of hoping we'd have some less adversarial responses, though. I mean, we're not necessarily going for super pacifistic, altruistic good guys here. Yeah, let's go for it. Does this look familiar?
How did you get that? I see. You have me at a disadvantage. I knew this day might come, but I didn't think it would be at the hand of strangers. Hand over those documents. In return, I'll use my considerable influence to ensure you are well known and fondly thought of among respectable sorts of people. My people.
Really? That is a very compelling offer. I mean, she would get what she wants. No one would get hurt. And she is the one who made the offer. All we did was show her the papers. She didn't even give us a chance to ask any questions about them. You talk us up, we stay quiet about you. Sounds fair. Lucia frowns and looks uncomfortable, but doesn't say anything.
Good. I'm glad we have an understanding.
She glances around before taking the documents and tucking them into her clothes.
I'll let everyone know about the fair and honorable Rangers. Word travels fast in my circles.
Wow. Holy moly. +10 reputation. And a fame boost. Melissa works quick. You know, I almost felt bad about doing that, except that Melissa isn't exactly super sympathetic. We didn't really do anything to hurt her. And that reward is pretty fantastic. Especially since this whole, refugee thing isn't likely to go in the direction that Reyes would like it to. So maybe that'll help offset our losses. Who knows?
I have nothing more to say to the likes of you.
Well said.
All the crime around here happens indoors.
Anyway, like I said, we're pretty much out of time, but...
That's the last time anyone saw the Patriarch.
Let's go crack the safe in the Sandslux, and I think we'll be at a pretty good stopping point. one robot eyeball, and a puddle of tar. Neat. And yet another brawling weapon. Man, the RNG really doesn't like us today. Yeah, we got another pocket dock too. I'd really rather be getting things like armor plating or servo knees or helmet mods. At any rate, I think that brings us to a pretty good stopping point for now. As I feared, it wasn't the most action-oriented episode, but I feel like we still made some pretty decent progress. We almost completely explored Broadmoor Heights and the Patriarch's Palace. We resolved several unmarked quests, gained a couple of levels, gathered a lot of resources, and I mean, honestly, even the stuff we can't use, the boxes covered in nails and the ice axes and the twisted pieces of rebar, we can still sell that stuff and use the money to purchase things that will be more useful. In fact, considering that our next stop is going to be Little Vegas, I might go ahead and do that. Yeah. We'll hit the pause button for now. I will go do a bit of light trading in the marketplace, just enough to make sure our guys are ready for any more aggressive quest resolutions we might have to take part in. And we will pick up here next time. See you then. Who's making all that racket? Who's making all that racket? Kaiser? Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Wasteland 3, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official YouTube and Twitch channels, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. As always, links are in the description.